I have to admit I'm having my own Dudley Do-Right moment. As I'm sitting here, you may have noticed we've switched things up a little bit. Glenda went first today, and I usually go first, and so there's a certain amount of control in that, you see. And so as I'm trying to be fully present with her talk, and I'm listening, and I'm going, okay, I know how I'm going to segue, and I'm going, no, it's not going to work. And I'm sitting here going, I am absolutely out of control. And the only thing I can do is accept this exact moment in time and breathe into it, and I feel my heart racing, because you may think this is easy, getting up here, and this is a moment of acceptance. This is an ultimate moment of acceptance. Can't wimp out on this one. I've got a job to do, and I'm going to do it. But the truth is, I am heading in the wrong way in the saddle right now. My talk has nothing to do with what Glenda was talking about. So I'm going to just go for it. So what I know about this is that acceptance is really action. It's not about being the doormat. It's not about laying down and just going, oh well. Not at all. It is a very active aspect of what we're called to do in our life experience. It really, what it is, the definition is to consent to receive. To consent to receive whatever it is. To willingly take it on, whatever that looks like. That's what I'm doing here. This idea of sweet surrender, so that we can live in peace without care, without stress, without the need to control. I tell you what, acceptance and control go hand in hand. When we are not accepting our experience in the moment, we're probably in some form of either wanting to be in control, feeling out of control, feeling controlled, or something. So this whole idea of acceptance and control go hand in hand. So it's not about having your head in the sand or, doing the ostrich thing. It's about the hero's journey, really. It really is about the hero's journey. Remember Mission Impossible during the 70s? And of course it's made a resurrection with Tom Cruise. I don't know, how many are there now? 1, 2, 3, 4? Remember what the tape always says in the very beginning when the mission is being presented? It says, your mission, if you choose to accept it. Your mission, if you choose to accept it. We get choices, right? So if we choose to accept whatever this thing called life is, and we choose to show up in our radiance, and we choose to show up in our excellence, we're probably going to have a mission that includes encountering the, as the Wikipedia says, the dictators and the tyrants and the evildoers, right? Like in the Mission Impossible. All of those aspects of ourself that get in the way. Those parts of ourselves, that the tyrant, the one that wants to be in control, the one that's panicking, right? The one that's not showing up skillfully all the time. But it's a choice in the present moment. And I love, the ending of the Mission Impossible thing. You know what it says? This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. We get to make the choice right now. I either accept this moment or I don't. It's that simple. And if I don't accept it, I'm probably in some form of pain. My heart is racing. I'm thinking I'm out of control. This is not working for me, right? And this is another thing. And until I started working on this talk, I used so many references, I'm not even sure where this came from. But the idea that if we're not accepting the present moment, we're in resentment. We're resenting whatever's showing up. If we're not accepting our bodies, we're resenting it. If we're not accepting our experience, we're resenting it. Those of you in 12-step know. We'd a whole lot rather give a resentment than get one. Having resentments is very destructive to our walk in the world. Is this true? Those of you who are 12-steppers know what I'm talking about. So when we step into, like I mentioned, my Dudley Do-Right moment this morning, we really are stepping into the unknown. We're stepping into a zone that's not real comfortable for us, right? But the thing about acceptance is this. We get to bring forth our creativity. We get to transform the moment, whatever it looks like, so that it works for us, so that we can open to the possibilities. We open to the potential of it, see? Bring something new. Trust me, this is not the talk I had planned. Bring something new. And most of us are in the acceptance mode when we've got our back against the wall, when we're uncomfortable, when things aren't going the way we want them to go. If they were going just fine, we wouldn't need to be in acceptance. It's that simple. This radical acceptance, this saying yes to whatever that, I was thinking about all the stuff in my life that's shown up without my permission that I've had to accept or resent. I don't like the feeling of resentment in my body. I don't like the way it makes my heart feel. I don't like the way it makes my relationships with others toxic. I don't like resentment. So acceptance is my choice. Just accept it and move on. But usually it's when some situation, some experience, some person, place or thing, whatever, sort of has me backed up against the wall, and it's my choice to take my power back, to take my life back, to step into my own power in that experience, which is the action of acceptance, the action. And when I can do that, then I can move on in peace. Now, I'm telling you that it can take some time. My sort of worn out groove that I share so often here, because it's fundamental and it's big in my life, has to do with my grandson. There was a point in time, I haven't seen my grandson now, he's 23 now, haven't actually seen his face since he was 21, and haven't really been with him since 2 or 3 years prior to that, because of all kinds of uncomfortable, complicated situations, right? But it took me a long time to accept this experience. It didn't happen just like that, but I worked on it, and I worked on it, and it was literally a moment-by-moment acceptance, so that I could be comfortable and move on with my life. I was thinking about the Dudley Do-Right. I can remember one of my greatest moments of acceptance had to do with the divorce of my children's father. Boy, was I mad. Boy, did I have resentments. Boy, was I angry. I was in total non-acceptance over that whole thing. It was not a good thing for me. My whole life shattered. I was driving down the Newport Freeway, mad as usual, you know, just angry, had never worked in my life and was heading for a job and things weren't good. And I saw this billboard, and the billboard said, "The best revenge is living well." And I thought, what a plan. What a plan. Okay, I really resent this, but I don't have to. I can be creative with it. I can turn it around. I can accept what's going on in this moment in time, and I can create something completely new. I can make my life beautiful. I can create possibilities in my life. That changed my life. It not only changed my life in that situation, but it has been a marker for me in the best way to get through things is to, you know, live it beautifully. Do it well. Do it well. I don't need to know the outcome. I just need to accept it in the moment and move forward with it in peace, and everything else starts to fall in place. In the Course of Miracles, the idea of once I've accepted that all of this, whatever it is part of my soul's journey, and God is within that, it makes it oh so much easier. Oh, so much easier. And I like what Joan Borishenko says. She says, if once we start stepping into this acceptance, and we actually are leaving the fantasy and the denial behind, like with my former marriage, we're leaving that behind. Well, you know, yeah, but how come? Well, if only. You know, well, what if? We create the story, we create the drama, we want it, you know, we've got some fantasy idea of how it coulda, shoulda, woulda been, right? And once we're in acceptance, we're able to step away from that and move into a whole new way of being with our experiences. She says it's a one-way ticket to a more wise and loving life. I like that. Acceptance is a one-way ticket to a more wise and loving life. And in that way we can embrace our humanity, the experience, and then we can bring forth this radiant divinity that we are. Make peace with the present moment. I want to read to you from Eckhart Tolle because we work so much with his work. He says, if there truly is nothing that you can do to change your here and now, and you can't remove yourself from the situation, you know, sometimes that's, if it's your little body, well, guess what? You're stuck. You got to stay with your body. But you can accept the here and now totally by dropping all inner resistance. The false, unhappy self that loves feeling miserable, resentful, or sorry for itself can then no longer survive. This idea that once we accept our experience, whatever it is, our finances, our health, our relationships, whatever it is, once we accept that, we get to move on and leave all the rest of it behind us. This mantra of the Serenity Prayer, those of you who are in 12-step know that every time you are faced with anything, it's probably a constant for you. And I want to share with you a version of the Serenity Prayer that my son shared with me this week. Anybody in the room familiar with Dr. Paul? Dr. Paul in this area? Yes? Yeah. Dr. Paul, his spin on the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to calmly accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change my attitude, and the wisdom to enjoy life's journey. It's all about acceptance. Because when I'm not accepting the present moment, I'm making it my enemy. When I'm not accepting the present moment, I'm resenting the reality of the moment. Once we move into acceptance, I'm not sure how this works, but I know it's true for myself. I've seen it work in your lives. Once we accept whatever is going on in our experience, that opening of acceptance of whatever we've been afraid of, whatever we've been resisting, whatever we've been trying to control, whatever's getting in the way of our peace, once we open to acceptance around whatever that is, somehow through grace, there is some kind of a release of a healing energy. A healing energy flows into the experience and transforms it. And in the process, it transforms our relationship with that. It's that incredible aspect. So here's your invitation. I put this image up here this morning. Robert's has been preparing a song for us, one that you all love, the Life is a Dance. Say yes to life. So when it's raining, get the umbrella, take action, accept the moment, and do the dance. Continue to be present in the moment, in the experience. If there are changes that you need to make them. But if you can't do a darn thing, accept it. Go ahead, get the umbrella. Participate in the experience. The participation, the active engagement is part of the acceptance. I'm not saying that you run away or go hide or go to bed and pull the covers over your head and that's acceptance. That's not acceptance. Acceptance is an active engagement with whatever is going on. It's just that we release our effort around it. And we allow the quality of this peace to permeate the experience, to embrace it fully. Gotta embrace it, gotta feel it, gotta be awake to it, gotta acknowledge it, even if we're confused and we're mad and we're resentful and we're driving the car to work. No matter what's going on, we have this invitation to align with the isness of the moment, just as it is. Chances are we're not going to be able to significantly change the things that are getting in the way for us. I think Jeannie Troop is the one that says this so often. God didn't bring me this far to drop me on my head. God did not bring me this far to drop me on my head. This basic trust in the universe that if I can simply allow the flow of whatever is going on to be part of my experience and accept it with grace, this incredible healing energy will be part of it. So, the invitation, take your life back. Step into your power. Take back those parts of your life that you've given away to resentment, to control, to whatever that looks like. Take it back so that you can move on in peace, so that you can have that sweet surrender that John Denver talked about. So, we've come to the time of our offering, or our time together where we're going to be collecting an offering, and I hope that you have heard something